Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of the Optical View podcast. Today I'm super excited to be joined with
Travis Gallagher.
How's it going, Travis?
Pretty good, how are you?
Good. Last time I saw you, we were fighting each other.
Yeah.
So that was fun. First time doing this?
Yeah, first time ever.
Awesome. I'm excited. As I mentioned you off camera, if anything pops up, we just talk about it, we go from there. So first kind of segment is going to be rapid fire. All right, so you take as long or as little time as you need for any of these questions. Favorite genre of music?
Hip hop.
Hip hop?
Hip hop.
Okay. Sure. What would you say your favorite thing about yourself is?
I'm open to learn.
I like that. Okay. I'm trying to get better at gift giving. I have been for a while. I'm a terrible gift giver. What would you say the best gift that you ever received was?
I got a watch when I first became crew from a good friend of mine to, I guess, resemble the time that I put in. I thought it was really, really thoughtful.
You're not wearing it?
Oh, no, I only wear it on special occasions.
Oh, okay.
It's a nice watch, yeah.
Okay, all right. Now, I'm going to flip that question around. What do you think is the best gift that you ever gave?
There's a couple. Probably, I still joke with my family that I won Christmas this one year.
Okay.
Because I won a jersey at a Oshawa Generals game.
Yeah.
I paid $5 for a raffle ticket, and I just happened to win. And my dad's a huge Generals fan, so it was autographed by a player that doesn't play anymore. And I gave it to him, and I thought I won Christmas that year for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. If a movie gets made about you, who would you want you to play you in the movie?
Oh, somebody tall, but that's not going to happen. The guy from Breaking Bad, whoever plays Jesse Pinkman.
Okay.
Yeah, people say we look alike.
I don't see it, but okay.
Man, neither do I, but
Okay.
someone sent me a side-by-side, and I was like, oh my God, we kind of do.
Okay. Okay. All right. Now, I'm a huge tattoo fan. Obviously, you're covered in tattoos. So,
Yeah, I literally just got this one.
who'd you get it done by?
Max at Headrush.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's the guy who did my sleeve. He did my leg. I have a Tree of Life on my leg. And we're planning a big chest piece in June for the Knicks Tattoo Festival.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So with that tattoos, right, I've got a couple, not as many as you. What would you say your favorite tattoo either on yourself or that you've seen on somebody else's?
My favorite tattoo on myself is my Tree of Life on my leg. Just like the Tree of Life is a huge thing in my family, just connectivity and family comes first, know where you come from and stuff like that. Favorite tattoo I've seen on somebody else is, that's a good question. Some people have got some really interesting pieces. I like Mitch Short's shoulder piece, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. It's classic. It's like true martial arts. I really, really like that piece. It stands out in my mind right now, actually.
I like that too. Next segment, this or that. You got to pick one or none. Real simple.
Okay.
All right. Hot or cold weather?
Hot.
Audiobook or podcast?
Podcast.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Morning or night person?
Night.
Tacos or burgers?
Burgers.
Pancakes or waffles?
Waffles.
Soup or salad?
Soup.
Apple or Android?
Android.
And this one divides the podcast community. It's huge here. There's a straight divine. Pizza or pasta?
Pasta.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Not many people, I'm team pasta too.
Yeah, if I'm gonna cheat and eat empty carbs and lots of salt, it's gonna be good. It's not gonna be cheap pizza. It's gonna be good pasta for sure.
I always say it's because of versatility. I feel like I could eat some version of pasta.
That's
every
very
day.
true. You could do pasta salads. You could do all kinds of different sauces on your pasta. I never even thought about it like that.
Yeah. Well, let's jump into it then. Who are you? What do you do? What do you want to be known for?
Well, I'm Travis Gallagher. I'm a crew at Muay Thai Whitby. Oh, what do I want to be known for? I just want to give back to what I got. This sport's helped me a lot. This gym saved my life, so I want to just be that for one person, and I think that my mission would be accomplished.
Okay. I want to jump into that story. So start me off at the very, very beginning, right?
Oh.
Maybe it doesn't have to be Muay Thai, but martial arts in general. When was the first time that you ever did martial arts?
I did a youth karate program when I was really, really young, but it wasn't like what you think karate is. It was like we learned about strangers and like how to cross the street, and then when we broke some boards and stuff like that. But it wasn't really like super martial arts. I didn't get into martial arts until I'd watch boxing fights and stuff like that. But when the UFC came on DirecTV, we had DirecTV at my house. And I was like, oh, I want to do that, because I always wrestled with my dad. And I'd box in the bag at home. I was like, I really want to do that, but my parents never would sign me up for kickboxing or anything like that. They're like, oh, if we find a good grappling school, you can go into grappling, and we just like never looked into it. Then when I was 19, I was a different person. I was down the wrong path, and I had my daughter on the way. I needed to figure a way out how to grow up. So I was at a party actually, and my friend's stepsister was like, oh, you should go to my friend's kickboxing gym. He's opening up, it's called Redemption Whitby. And I was like, oh, my friend goes to Redemption in Bowmanville, like, I'll go check it out. So I go check it out, I come here, my very first day, it was sparring day. I asked my friend who went to Redemption in Bowmanville what I needed. So I brought my shin guards, my jock, everything, and I was like, yeah, I've done this before. I never did anything before. So my first round was with Rob, and he beat me up so bad. He was doing this thing with his foot. I'd never seen anybody tap their front foot before. I was like, oh, that's silly. I'm just gonna kick your other leg out from underneath you. So I did, and then he did it back to me, and I flipped and landed on my opposite side, and I was like, what was that? Kicked me in the leg for the first time. I used to think like, you didn't kick in a street fight, right? So I was like, nah, man, you don't kick in a fight. Oh, no, you do. I felt that first leg kick, and I was like, okay. Did 2 more rounds with, you know Mortgage Matt.
Yeah.
At the time, he was Mr. Business. He was still an MMA fighter.
Yeah. And
he beat the crap out of me, too. I left here limping, my nose was bleeding. I was like, this is definitely the place for me. And I've like never looked back, really.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, so that was in Whitby?
Yeah. Yeah, he right here, when he very first couple weeks that he moved in here, I was one of the very first students here. It was before like Crew Rob was even a crew. He was still Puchoy crew. When we got our blue shorts, he became a crew, which was awesome to be here for that. And I took a little bit of break. I took 3 years off. And then when I came back, the whole gym had like grown and changed, and we had other blue shorts, and nobody knew who I was. I stepped in the line, and everybody was like, yo man, you're like wearing the wrong color shorts, and kind of like looked at the back line. I was like, no, I definitely belong here.
Yeah.
Yeah, earned my respect back in sparring, and like everyone's like, oh, okay, like this kid's for real. Started coaching, because to be honest, I couldn't afford the membership, so I started coaching to pay for my membership. Found out I loved coaching, and never looked back from that point.
Okay, so let's take a bit of a step back here. You talked about when you were 19, you were on a very different life path.
Oh yeah.
Talk to me about the life path that you were on.
I just didn't come up in the greatest environment. I looked up to the wrong, I just looked for acceptance a lot when I was a kid. So like the way I looked for acceptance was like the cooler kids let me hang around. Well, they only let me hang around because I was willing to do things that I didn't know any better. So a couple of years of living that lifestyle, I got a reputation. I fought a lot. I did a lot of things I'm super not proud of. I was just like, I wasn't going to see 25. I was going to be in jail or not here. And I had conversations with people close around me, and they're like, you have a daughter on the way. You really need to figure it out. And I did. I found here, and
Yeah.
I got it beaten into me, basically.
Yeah. Now, as long as you're okay talking about it, right? That lifestyle, was that drugs, alcohol, gang-related stuff? What was it?
Gang-related stuff. This is a funny way of putting it. Yeah, a mix of everything. Like, yeah, I sold drugs. I drank. I did drugs. I did gang-related stuff, I guess you could say. Like I was like waist deep in the lifestyle, and yeah, I just had a big chip on my shoulder. So I thought, like, the bigger my name was, the more people feared me, the less people would pick on me. It stems from like being bullied as a kid, right? Like, once you're a victim and you make that choice in your head, like, I'm never going to be a victim again, and kind of like then you lash out and victimize other people in a way. But yeah, that was it. It's just a lot of fights for no reason. Like, we had a fight club in high school. We had different high schools. Like, we basically had like a match set up, 3 matches set up, and we would meet in the trailer park. It's all condos now, but right beside the train tracks, there used to be a trailer park at Anderson. So like, we would fight, and like 200 kids would show up. All the drunks from the trailer park would come out. Like, it was basically like a mini coliseum. It was kind of cool to come up in that environment.
Yeah. So obviously, where you are now, looking back at that, I mean, it's something to be proud of.
Oh yeah, I've come so far. I've proved so many people wrong. I never thought I'd be a role model. Like, that's the biggest, like, I guess, culture shock about it all. Is like, now kids and other fighters and stuff, they look up to me, and it's like I have to carry myself because I know that they look up to me. So that's cool. Never ever thought I would be an instructor or a teacher or a molder of young minds. Like, never ever believed that I would be in this spot, that's for sure.
Yeah. So now, with where you are now, and looking back at, some of the choices that you made, obviously, it's a very different life. So for somebody who's, maybe they get to watch this, or they're doing some of those choices that you've done, I don't know if they're watching this or not, but let's say they are, what is something that you would say to them?
Well, find a more positive outlet, and like, there's other ways of finding that sense of family or sense of belonging that I know so many kids are looking for. Maybe they're not getting it home or whatever, and like, we lash out, we branch out to try to find that, and like, go to a martial arts gym or play a sport. Like, there's so much camaraderie in like having a team around you, and it's positive reinforcement, instead of like you're only being accepted because you're willing to take a backpack on a bus and not look in it.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously not the gang-related stuff now, right? But the drugs and alcohol, all the let's just say the legal components of it. Do you still do any of that stuff?
No, I'm going on 3 years sober. I was a full-blown alcoholic while I was training and teaching. Like, I didn't drink before I taught, but like, as soon as I like didn't really train that much, as soon as I noticed that somebody else was here to run it, I was like, salute Claudia, the beer store closes at 8. COVID hit. I gained a lot of weight. I was like 189 pounds coming out of COVID. And then I heard rumors about the in-house at Cal, and I was like, yeah, man, I'll fight. I'll do a 150. It was 189, and I was like, I can make that in 2 months. We'll be all right. And I did. But I had to quit drinking. I had to stop drinking. I didn't like even want to quit when it started. It's like, you need to stop to lose the weight. So I stopped. I lost all the weight. I made 150. I was really proud of myself. I fought, did all right. Signed up for the next one, which was the next month. Didn't end up getting an opponent, but like, I trained like I did. So I lost even more weight, got in better shape, and then got on to the next one. That was like a couple months later. Fought on the first Durham Fight Series show. So that was like 3 fights in a year, but I was in camp for 10 months straight at that point. And then before I knew it, I had a year sober, and it's like, oh, I can't go back now.
Yeah.
I feel great. I feel better every day now that I don't. So.
And when you stopped, Did you stop completely? Or,
Oh yeah,
or
I went
did
cold.
you taper down?
No,
cold
no.
turkey,
I went cold turkey and dealt with severe alcohol withdrawals and horrible dreams and cold sweats and everything, all while going through a fight camp, my very first fight camp. And
yeah. So that was your first fight?
That was my very first fight.
Like sanctioned fight, not in the streets?
Oh yeah, that was like in a ring. That was my very first competitive match. I just never could commit the time. I really tried. I tried to get into like an MTO provincials years ago, and just like I was trying to drink on the weekends and train throughout camp. So I was just getting injured. My body was falling apart on me all the time, and then it's just like I didn't want to keep disappointing the team by signing up for something, getting everybody hyped, and then I pull out from injury. So I just put that on the back burner for a little bit, and then COVID kind of gave everybody a scare, like, oh, like life's short and precious. And I looked at Rob, I was like, we're gonna take as many fights as possible. Like, I'm gonna ride this till the wheels fall off.
Yeah, and so that change in your life of basically being an alcoholic to the next day not, right? What was the decision and the motivation to continue with that mindset? Because I'm sure there's many different times of doubts of just one drink or just whatever it would be, right?
I realized that like I play too hard. There is no just one. One's not enough and two's too many kind of thing. Sorry about that. One's not enough and two's too many. So I know some people can drink in moderation. I can't. So I made that decision with like on my own, but everybody around me was basically telling me it was time. Like I was a happy drunk until I wasn't, you know? So I couldn't live that anymore. And then I was falling back into hanging around with the same people from my old life that I left behind, and I found myself like getting into situations that I should never have been in the first place. And then came back to the gym, was like, no, this is my sanctuary, this is where I belong. So
yeah, okay. And so since that timeline, you know, what's been the journey like throughout your not only martial arts but also all your personal life too, right? You talked about having a daughter when you first kind of jumped into it.
Yeah, I had my daughter. I was training, working. Me and her mom split up pretty early, and then we ended up getting back together. And then we were together for a while. She got pregnant with my son. We got a house like right across the street from the school. Kind of like set up for that fairy tale life kind of thing. But we got together really young and we grew up into different people. So like it was just like we were together for the kids and they didn't see us happy. So we decided to go our separate ways and really haven't looked back from that. My kids are happy, I'm happy, she's happy, she has more kids now. Yeah, it was for the best.
And so along that time, you know, of after the kids, right, and throughout your personal life, what were some of the things that stuck out to you as kind of milestones and you know, not only happy but just big moments too?
Milestones.
Like you talked about buying a house, right? Like the housing market for me, I don't think I'm ever going to get a house now.
No,
right?
I'm not getting a house now.
Right? But for me, that'd be a milestone that would happen. Right.
Yeah, that was like, we didn't make any money off of it or anything like that. It was like, we were basically out before the ink was dry. Yeah, so it happened and then it didn't happen. So I got kind of lucky on that because I didn't like have to fork out too much money. So it was okay. Yeah, the housing market's crazy right now. I don't think anybody our age is like getting a house anytime soon unless you get it inherited. Something needs to give.
Yeah. So let's talk to me about how many fights that you've had, right?
Including the 2 in-houses, I've had 8 total fights in the last 3 years.
Okay.
And that's all the fights I've had.
That's all you've had?
Other than people trying to kill me in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which sometimes those are worse.
So 100%. Out of all the fights that I've had worse wars in here for sure.
Yeah. So 13 years training and 8 fights in, what would you say that some of the biggest things that you've learned through martial arts?
Patience. I learned how to be a leader. I didn't have to be like the follower anymore. I wasn't scared of my own light, kind of thing. I learned how it was okay to be good at something and to share it with other people. I learned balance. I learned how to focus on myself. I know it sounds like selfish, but I've always been such a giver and tried to fix people and stuff like that. Even when I was a different person, I was still like, my friends were my friends because I was like, we can make it out of the situation together, kind of thing. So I've always just like devoted all my energy to other people. Martial arts has really showed me that, like, one, it's okay to put time and energy into myself, but not only by doing that does like it make me better, but it also makes everybody else better around me, kind of thing. Like, I can lead by example.
Yes. And now in the coaching aspect of it, right? How have you developed as a coach and as a leader?
I get better every day as a coach. I have such great examples here. Like, now that we have Justin, I have another example, but like Crew Rob did really, really good by me. I loved his like almost military teaching style, but he would be your friend after class, kind of thing. Like, that's what a lot of us really, really need, is like that stern, this is what's expected, and then like it's okay if you fail, kind of thing. I think that's a really great question, actually. I think I'm constantly developing as a leader and a coach, which like I hope everybody does.
Yeah.
But it's weird because I'm developing as a fighter as I'm developing as a coach. Yes. So it's a lot of different pressures. Like, I don't want my students to think that they don't want to train under me if I lose or something like that. Like, it's a lot of unnecessary pressure that I put on myself, obviously, because nobody cares if we win or lose except for us.
Yeah.
Like, everybody still loves you the same. That's one thing that I've learned throughout this whole journey. Yeah, I've developed confidence as a leader. Like, I believe in myself because, like, I see my students and they're going out and they're doing what I ask them to do, doing what I teach, and they're doing well in competitions, and I'm seeing them grow as people and more confident little humans. Like, they're doing things at home, they're listening to their parents, just the way they walk in the gym with their heads held high. Like, that's so rewarding to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And now let's talk a little bit about the losses. We'll get to the wins after.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, for now, the losses, as you just talked about, something that I think anybody who has been through any type of loss in a fight or otherwise, is that you just mentioned, is that the people in your life that care about you, they're going to care about you whether you win or you lose.
Oh, I get more support on my loss posts than my win posts. Like, I lost, my most recent was in the semis at Nationals. I lost a decision. Yeah, I posted, I lost the decision, I'll get him next time, no excuses. It got more likes and comments than my post about winning a championship. So, like, all of that stuff really just only matters to, like, you and your opponent. The people who support you are always going to be the people who support you. Your family's always going to be your family. Yeah. We just put so much pressure on ourselves because we don't like to lose.
We don't like to lose, for sure.
It's part of the game, though.
And how do you handle a loss? Because I think everybody handles a loss differently.
Oh, I've handled each loss differently. I have 3 losses. My first loss, I should never even have gone to Nationals. I had a broken nose and strep throat, but I already paid the money, so I was like, we're going. And should never have done that, but that was my first loss. That was hard, and I had to hold on to that the whole weekend because I'm still a coach, and I had 2 kids fighting for belts the next day. So it was like, can't get down because if they lose, then they'll get down. It's like, no, you handle everything with grace. You handle winning with grace. You handle losing with grace, because I'm the leader. They follow me, right? So I don't get to throw temper tantrums. I don't get to be super upset like in their face. But when I got home, I fucking cried for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I never lost, like in any sport that I played, I never lost. Like we always won the championship. I kind of had main character syndrome.
Yeah.
And then when I lost, I was like, oh man, like I'm not the hero in the story kind of thing. So that took me back, but it just made me like super, super hungry. And I lost the split decision in Coburg. That could have gone either way, but I knew going into it, you don't go to the judges.
Yeah.
Like
I always find that funny. I don't go to the judges. Well, I'm trying not to.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I've really tried not to,
yeah.
But like that's okay. They saw it his way. I didn't feel a waste about that. I felt like I fought good for the circumstances. And then my last one, I fought the week before. I fought a couple hours before. My calves were having spasms. Like I gave it my all. So
yeah.
It's really, really hard to be disappointed in yourself when you literally have nothing left to give.
Yeah. And now I wanna jump on that Coburg show there. Did you, because it was a split decision loss, right? Mm-hmm. Did you think you won that?
Yes. But looking back, like now how I know the Waco scoring, I thought my knees were scoring every single time, and now like I know sometimes they score for an exchange and stuff like that. So looking back, yeah, it's a weird scoring system. I understand that. So looking back and knowing that now, it's a lot closer than what I thought. So it could have gone either way. It was super, super close.
Now, so I've been in that situation too, where a split decision happens. You're there and you hear split decision, and you're like,
oh no,
I thought I won it.
Yeah,
right?
I thought it was
undoubtedly mine, and that mindset kind of changes as soon as you hear a split decision and you find out you don't win it, right? What are those emotions and feelings when you find out you don't win it versus thinking you won it?
Initially disappointment, and then you're like, no, you got to clap for the other guy. You got to go walk to the corner and tell them good job. Like, you got to handle I know we're not professionals, but I represent my gym as a professional, so I have to handle myself that way.
Yeah.
So it's okay to be disappointed at first, but then it's like, no, head up high, shake the other guy's hand, go to the other corner. Yeah. Plus it was you guys in the corner. It was Bubba and Bill in the corner. Yeah. I love those guys. Yeah. I can't not go up to them and say what's up.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And now versus handling a win and how you and the emotions with that, right? Obviously they're two very different. I almost talk about the coin flip, right? The heads and the tails of it, right? What is it like after a win? For you?
For me, it depends on the fight. If it's a good fight and I had fun, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I'm a fighter first. I'm not a martial artist. This isn't a sport to me. I love fighting. So I sign up to trade hands and feet. Yeah. So if it's a good one, back and forth, I'm getting hit, you're getting hit, I'm pumped no matter what. I'm walking to the corner that's what we signed up for. So a win makes it kind of better, but ideally I just want the crowd to go nuts. I want to feel good about that fight.
Yeah. Now, did you think you had that in Coburg? Because that was
I knew it was close. I knew it was close. I went to my corner. I was like, ooh, that was close. Because I gassed out in the third, and he started to pull back. But I thought that my clinch in the first two had me up. So I was like, ooh, that was close, but I'm pretty sure I had it. And then.
But that's a very different reaction from what you just said.
Yeah.
If it was a good fight, doesn't really.
Well, yeah,
I
wasn't super proud of my performance in Coburg. I got a really, really tunneled vision. I should have used my kicks. If I was coaching, I would have been mad at my fighter, 100%, because I didn't listen to my corner. I just wanted to fight, and that's not how we game planned that at all. We game planned it to be, I was going to be heavy on the legs and use my skill instead of making it a brawl and giving him the opportunity to clinch me, because I knew he was so long that I was going to have to manage distance very, very carefully where I could still strike and be out of his range, but I just bunched up too much. the nerves hit me really bad for that fight, actually. Like, coming out, I was looking for, like, ways out. I saw the guy from, I can't remember what gym, he was sick. I was like, oh man, you're lucky.
Yeah. I want to touch on nerves in a bit, but I want to jump back to the wins now, right? So, as you mentioned, it's very different in the way that you handle it, right? So, what's the first thing that you do after a win? You know, when the fight's done, after you're done thanking and the medicals and stuff like that.
I go see my family, because my family's at every single one of my fights. I go see my mom and my sisters and my niece and my nephew. And then I go downstairs, like, the team's usually waiting downstairs, so I go hug the team and thank everybody for being there. Say I'm glad I didn't get knocked out in front of my friends and family, because that's like, that's your biggest fear as a fighter. I think going in, like, the whole night before, you have dreams about it, and like do everything you can to make that not happen. And then it's just like a sense of relief and a sense of love downstairs. And hopefully I get out of there early enough so I could get ice cream, because, like, that's my thing. I don't care if I win or lose. I'm getting ice cream after a fight. That's what I crave.
Yeah,
I cut not a lot of weight, but I have to cut sugar out of my life. I have to cut grains out at a certain point. Like, so you start having these cravings, like unstoppable cravings. So as soon as that fight's done, I'm thinking about a blizzard for sure.
it's funny you mentioned that. That's me too.
Yeah.
My first thing is I love ice cream. As soon as I jump into fight camp, no ice cream. I start reducing and then fully cut out dairy. So, like, I'm the exact same. Like, some people love the beers and they love the pizza.
Yeah.
For me, I'm like, I just want an ice cream, man.
Well, we have a rule on our team. Like, it's cool to celebrate, but we have two things you can't do after a fight. You're not supposed to go have a beer.
Okay.
And you're not supposed to have a super hot shower.
Really?
Yeah, because you could have micro bleeds in your brain, and the change of blood pressure from the hot shower can make that worse, and you can pass out in the shower. And, like, drinking's a blood thinner, so it can make that micro bleed into a bigger bleed and stuff like that. So we generally have a rule. I tell all my fighters, don't go home and have the celebratory beer. Go home and have a lukewarm shower, room temperature shower, so you can clean the sweat and blood and everything off of you. And then go to bed and get that rest. I know it's hard. You're wired and you might stay up late, but, like, that's fine. Stay up late, but get that sober rest. Let your body repair, and then you can go celebrate the next night if you're not feeling groggy or anything like that. Like, there's always time to celebrate. Most of us take a couple weeks off after a fight, anyways. So, like, pick your battles, kind of thing.
Yeah, unless you're fighting the next week at nationals.
Yeah, that wasn't well planned out, but, like, I wouldn't trade that experience. I got to fight twice in 2 days, 3 times in 7 days. Like, that was super fun. I wouldn't let any of my fighters do that again, but yeah, that was super fun.
Because you had a couple people from the team fight on both cards.
Yeah, me and Rafiq fought no shin guards, but me and Rafiq fought, and little Mika fought. She did a kick light fight against Sydney. So there's 3 of us who fought 3 times in 7 days. Super proud of the team. We won't do that again.
Yes.
We won't do that again. It was a lot. Our bodies started giving out at the end. But, like, we also could have did some, I could have ate more after the first fight, but I went and coached instead. Like, crew told me I didn't have to, but I love being a coach, right? So I was like, no, I'm going to be on the mats. I'm going to be in the ring being a coach. I should have been resting. I should have been eating. But next year we know, and we'll do better.
Yeah, it's a learning experience.
Oh yeah, every time. I did better than I did the year before, so.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to touch on the nerves in a little bit, but first I want to touch on our fight, right? The one that you won the championship on, right? And it did go to a decision.
Yes.
So, again, I love the whole saying of don't let it go to a decision, because I don't think any fighter
wants
it to go to a decision.
Nobody's sure, especially, like, I love Waco. I love what they're doing for the sport, but I don't understand the scoring system sometimes.
Yeah.
So I understand, like, 2 judges can't see all the action at all times, so that affects it. But it's like, every time you go to a decision, you're like, oh man, I think I won. I'm pretty sure I won. But, like, until you hear unanimous, you're kind of holding your breath. And then even when you hear split, as soon as you hear split in the bottom of your stomach, you're like, oh no, it's not. Maybe it didn't go the way I thought it went. And you start spiraling. That's the worst feeling ever.
and especially when it gets long and drawn out.
Oh yeah,
you're waiting there.
It's long. Like especially.
Luckily, I think ours was pretty quick.
Ours was all right.
But there was a couple that I've done, and I'm like, it's probably been 5 or 10. It feels like it's been 5 or 10 minutes.
Like nationals, they had to take the paper all the way back, right? So
Yeah.
not only did you have to wait that first like initial couple minutes for everybody to turn their scorecards in, they had to go all the way back, and then Buddy had to read it. So it felt like you were standing up there longer than you fought for sometimes.
Yeah. So when we went to a decision, how confident were you that you won that fight?
Very confident.
You were very confident.
Very, very confident. Because like my gas was good. I just stuck to the game plan. I didn't make it a brawl. I didn't make it closer than it needed to. So I just like picked my points. It was a very, very big point for me to go the whole 5 rounds and to do well over the 5 rounds. Like I wanted to prove to myself I could do it. And plus your promo video said, let's see if he can. And I took that as a personal challenge to be like, we're going 5 rounds. For sure, we're going 5 rounds. I also was told by many people that know you that you weren't going to go down.
Yeah.
And if you went down, you were getting right back up. I was like, okay, so he's like me. This is going to be a great fight. I got super excited about it.
Yeah, and I didn't think your gas tank was going to be what it was. I wouldn't say I underestimated you, but especially watching the Coburg fight, and you already said that your gas already failed from that.
Oh yeah, I held my breath that entire fight. I don't think I breathed one time.
Yeah.
And I went into that with a broken nose too. Haley kneed me right in my face like 2 weeks before that and crumpled my nose.
Yeah.
So I wasn't going into that like being able to breathe the best to begin with.
Yeah.
But I don't pull out the fights.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And so my whole thing was, and I want to touch on the training camp and how you delegate strength versus cardio, but for me is that like I knew you were going to have a big weight advantage. So I would say probably 6 weeks out, I wouldn't say I stopped the weights, but I greatly reduced them. And I was like, I'm just going to focus on the cardio. You're already going to have the weight and the strength advantage on that part of it. I'd rather just have the cardio advantage on it. Right, so that was kind of my idea going into it. So I was like, let's see if I can really push the pace and see if you can keep moving forward for 5 rounds. Yeah. That was the whole idea for me. So it wasn't like a slight against you. That was just
no. It was a smart game plan. I knew you were gonna try to goat me into like that dogfight to push my cardio and to like get me to not breathe kind of thing. So it was very, very like I was very adamant in my warm up into everything like breathing. Okay, we're gonna move, we're gonna breathe, we're gonna be smart. Like I don't need to make this a harder fight than it needs to be. Like I've been doing to myself. Like it's cool to make it exciting, but like I'm making these fights closer than they need to be. I could get my points. I could showcase my Muay Thai, and I was really proud that I did that and managed my energy well over that fight.
It was a great fight. It was lots of good exchanges on both ends. Now I have to ask you, because from my point, and I've heard those videos out there, I haven't seen those videos, so I don't know. Where was the nut shot legit?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you rattled.
So it must have been the foot then, because the knee
hit
your
It was.
Okay.
Your leg, I saw the video, your leg comes out.
Okay.
Like,
because Matt.
Yeah, it wasn't like it wasn't 100% on you because like he kicked. I got messages like he fucking kicked you. It's like no man. If you notice, I'm stepping forward into it, so I bunched your range as you were trying to jump up. So your shin just like came up.
I knew the knee.
It came right under my cup.
In the chest area. That's why I was like Matt when he calls time, he goes, "You need him," and I go, there's no way I need them. It might have been my foot.
No, yeah, your knee slid up, but the foot went right under my cup and lifted it. And I was like, oh, and I bent over, and then you started uppercutting me, and I was like, I'm just gonna take a knee right here, because like I can't breathe, dude. You hit me so hard in my dick, bro.
Okay, yeah, because that's why I didn't see the videos, and I was like, it must have been the foot.
Yeah,
I knew it wasn't the knee.
It was like your instep came up and lifted up under it, and like just lifted and dropped, and the drop got me, and it's like, oh, that sucked.
Okay. Yeah, because I didn't think you were faking it, but I was like, I knew it wasn't the knee.
No, that hurt. That was like, out of all 3 fights, that was the most damage I took for sure.
Yeah, good thing you were wearing a cup, man, for sure.
Yeah, it was a brand new diamond, like the bulletproof cups or whatever.
Okay, yeah.
But like, I don't think I had it on right because that still hurt a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, and you took a couple hard shots too. I was crazy. Like there was Elena.
Oh, you hit
sent
me
a
in
video.
my chest with a jump knee, and I was like, "Whew, that was close."
Yeah.
We ain't ducking into punches.
Yeah.
No
'Cause you
more.
kept doing that. You kept moving your head to the right side, stepping off for the 2, and I'm like, I just need 1.
I know,
That's
you
it.
came close a couple times. I was like, okay, we ain't doing that anymore. Switching to southpaw and throwing my hook from that side.
Yeah, it was a good battle, man. It was a fun one.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. That was probably my most fun fight because you weren't afraid to stand there and trade. Usually I put my hands on somebody and I see it in their eyes like, oh, I don't want that. And they spend the whole time running away from me. It's like, that's not what I signed up for. You might be able to outpoint me like that, but that's not a fight.
Yeah. Yeah, see, so my game plan for that fight was the first 2 rounds, get you to just frustrate you and move forward and miss. And then I was like, the last 3 rounds, complete switch, just pour it on in your face, let the cardio go, right? Like hopefully the first 2 rounds, like you might be up a little bit on points, right? But the last 3 rounds, I know I can just pour it on. What was the game plan for you going into that fight?
Breathe and move.
The whole 5 rounds.
The whole five rounds. Every punch and kick that I throw, I breathe on, and I have a bad habit of getting stuck in the mud and like comfortable in the pocket. So when I was okay with backing out, I would back out and reset. And like I knew I had the reach advantage too, so I didn't have to. In most of my fights, I have to fight like a midget and get into the bubble and fight like that. This fight, I didn't have to do that. So I was like, okay, we don't have to crash the bubble. Let's just be ranged, be that outside fighter. So I got an opportunity to show that I could do that too.
And so when the preparation for the fight camp happened, how do you delegate skill work versus, straight cardio versus strength and conditioning? How do you do that? Do you work with Rob on that? Do you have a strength and conditioning coach?
I literally just hit Muay Thai. I just hit pads or bag.
That's it, eh? Don't go for runs, no bikes.
If anybody on my team asks me, I go for runs all the time. To be honest, no, I need to add that. Obviously, it's a missing piece. We're going to go to RU game as a team. We're going to try to get our strength and conditioning up that way. I've been there before, the very first Derms Fight Series fight, when me and Rob fought on the same card. We were going there, and I felt like I could have did 10 more rounds after those 3. Like, I felt amazing. I was in great shape. My nutrition was on point. And then these last couple, I kind of got away from that. Just time management wise, I have to teach too. Like I still have a job to do. It's literally just 2-a-days Muay Thai. Depending on where my weight is, I'll wear a sweater when I train a couple of those classes. But I was told that I overtrain by people that I trust very deeply. So I dialed my training back seriously this camp because I don't know if you guys knew when the fight was brought up in January or whenever it was brought up, maybe February. We were at Frosty Friends or something when I first heard about it. I still had a tear in my MCL.
Okay, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, I had a tear in my MCL, so I had a knee brace under my.
I wouldn't have wanted that fight if I knew that.
Yeah, I had a knee brace on, so I only got maybe 6 weeks of training camp, and I couldn't spar for 2 of those. So it was just like a lot of bag work, and just focusing on breathing on every shot, because I knew it wasn't going to be a cardio thing. It was going to be if I can control breath work. That's my theory about a lot of fighting, is like we have high performance athletes come from like hockey and soccer and stuff, and like, oh, like the cardio is so hard here. It's like, no, you just don't understand. Like, you understand how to breathe in your sport, you don't understand how to breathe in my sport. It's different lungs, right? So that was the main focus. The whole camp was just like breath control, making noises when I hit, stuff like that, and then getting to the point where like I'm not thinking about it anymore. And now I can't get out of it. Now I'm super annoying on the pads. I'm growling and yelling and stuff. It's just like, that's how I have to do it, or I can't, or I forget to breathe.
I want to double check and make sure this thing's still going.
Yeah,
we're still good. I did one with Luke and I didn't check it, and it wasn't going.
Oh no!
And I felt so bad.
Oh, poor
yeah, it was
guy.
still good. So that's it. Okay, so let's talk about the nutrition then. You said that you cut out a lot of grains and ice cream and salt and stuff, right? What is it? Is that a weight thing, or what is that mentality?
It's a weight thing to get walking around, like I'm training every day, just natural walk around weight. I'm 145. But like I don't have a lot to lose from that.
Yeah.
So then I got to start we have a wonderful nutritionist that trains here, so she helps a lot of the fighters out. I talk to her about everything that goes into my body in fight camp. About like 2 weeks out, I cut a lot, like most of the grains, all the carbs I get 2 weeks out are from fruits and vegetables.
Okay.
And then like 2 days out I'm water loading for the night before.
For the water cut?
Yeah, I cut I ended up cutting like 3 pounds.
You looked sucked out at weigh-ins. Like
Yeah.
so the doctor told me, it was interesting because there was, I guess, 1 or 2 people in front of us, and you went off to the back, and then he goes, if he was up next, I wouldn't allow him to fight. That's what he told me.
Yeah,
That's
no,
how sucked
I
out
had to
you were.
cut. I woke up at
That's why
137.
I was like, let me cut in front of you, because I was like, I'm like, this
Yeah,
fight's
no,
happening.
I appreciate that. I needed a drink for sure. That happens every fight day. Like no matter what my weight is, I look like sucked out.
But you didn't look like that at nationals though.
No, because I had to go lower weight for you.
Yeah, it was 35 versus 39.
That was my first time ever making 35 also. So I woke up that day at like 37. And it was like, okay, cool, I can't eat or drink anything, and I still have to lose 2 pounds.
That's crazy, because that's not that much. Because like I've water cut 8 pounds before, and I feel like I didn't look like how you looked. Like you looked sucked out. You looked like you went through a massive cut.
Yeah, no, I did. Like I don't know. I don't hold a lot of water. I don't think to begin with, because like every time, like even making 39. Except for nationals this one time, like I fought Brian at 42 and I felt like a zombie. I felt sucked out. I felt weak. I think it's just my nerves. My body is my body is just like the engine isn't running properly. And then once I make the weight and I can eat and I can drink, then my body starts to relax. But I can literally feel like everything in my body tense before weigh-ins. And then
Did you weigh yourself before the fight, like on that after you dehydrated?
No. Oh yeah, after?
Yeah.
Yeah, after I got up to 45.
Okay.
After
so you were back to your walk around.
Yeah, I was right back to walk around. I don't cut a lot. It's just like I'm already so small as it is. To get those extra couple pounds is a hassle. Like it takes 2 weeks for me to get to 143 to 39.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Those last 4 pounds is just like, I don't have a lot of fat, and I don't like cutting water. I don't respond well to cutting.
Yeah.
I've tried cutting more water. I've tried to get down to like 32 in the past, and that's when all my injuries happen.
132.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I tried way before that. Was lowest I've ever been while training is 134, and I was there one day and I popped a rib.
Really?
Yeah, I got kneed really, really hard by a good guy when I first started. Got me all stretched out and he popped my rib, and I was like, okay, cool. And then I always hovered around 45, 50. Now that I got my diet in check and I'm training all the time, it's like 45, 44.
So what's the future weight for you to fight at?
I made 35 comfortably, so I'm pretty sure I can make 32 now. Because I only went back up to 43. I can make 32 if I do it properly, and I think I can put, if I do add strength training, we'll see how much weight I put on with my diet, and then maybe I'll be stronger at 39. But I'm so short at 39, man. Like all these guys are so tall.
Yeah.
And then I looked at 32, and it's like, they got some really tall guys down there too. So
I know.
I'm always going to be the short guy no matter what division. I fought at 150 when my very first fight. So basically whatever comes up, I kind of say yes to, and then let my coaches decide if we want to take it.
Yeah. See, it's interesting. So when the fight was offered to me, I was asked what weight, and I was like, whatever weight he can make. Like, I don't, as long as I know in advance,
Yeah,
I can go up.
That's
right?
That's the thing. It's like, give me the camp to know the weight.
Yeah.
And then,
but I was like,
I'll
just
make
don't.
it
I don't want it to be changed the week of.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's. I was like, if they came back and they're like, you gotta do 42, I would have been like,
That's what happened.
Like,
it wasn't anybody's fault, but that's what happened on the Coburg card.
Yeah.
It's like I thought it was 39, and then they posted the poster, and for some reason my fight was the only fight that didn't say the weight class. I was like, can you?
That's a little suspicious.
Yeah, can you just message and see what weight we're fighting? And then he talked. I was in day class, and he's like, bro, they have you at 47.
47?
Like, yeah, I was like, Rob,
I thought you fought at 41.
42.
42, okay.
Yeah, I was like, Rob, I'm 42 right now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going back up. Took me all this time to get down.
To get down, yeah.
I can't go back up. And he's like, okay, we'll figure it out. So then Rob called Brendan. Lucky Brian was there. So we like had a UFC moment where we're basically talking over the phone. He's like, well, like, I don't know if I can like go much lower. And I was like, dude, I'm 142. I promise you I won't lose another ounce. But like, I can't put that like healthy weight back on. It's just going to be junk weight. So he's like, okay, I can make, because Bill got on the phone. He's like, we can do like a water cut. I'll help you. So he's like, we can make 42. And I was like, okay, we made 42. And it's like, fuck. I saw him the night we fought.
Yeah.
He's huge.
Yeah.
Why did I take that fight?
Yeah,
He's so big.
Yeah.
I called him a bully. I like him. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, it was interesting because then, anyways, so they asked me and I was like, whatever weight, just let me know. And then, so I guess, I'm not sure who he talked to, but Brendan goes, he comes back and he goes, he says he can make 35 with ease. And I'm like,
I don't know who said that.
I'm like, 35 with ease.
Never
I'm
made
like,
35 in my life.
I'm like, if with ease, I'm like, all right, let's do 35 then,
Yeah.
no problem, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And then I was like, what weight did you fight Brian at? I'm like, I thought it was 43 and I thought he cut. So I'm like, I don't know what's up with that, but I'm like, okay, 35 it is, like, no
for
problem.
the Brian fight, I was like 160 coming into camp. I was a little fat. A little fatty
funny.
coming into that one, that's for sure.
Anyways, let's get off of that. Let's talk about nerves and nerves before a fight, right? As you talked about, sometimes they hit you hard. I think they hit everybody hard in some way or another, right? How do you deal with those, and what different experiences have you had?
Nerves hit me almost the same every time. It's just like how I deal with them really depends on the camp that I had.
Okay.
Like my very first fight was the smoker. How I dealt with nerves was like, look at everything you've done in this 2 months. Look at all the weight you've lost. You haven't had a drink in 60-something days. Like, you win or lose, you should be proud of yourself. Second fight is like, okay, you've been in camp for so long. You're ready for this. You just walked through the last guy that you fought. Official fight at the Polish Hall. It was, your teammate took this on 4 days. Why are you nervous? The Brian fight, that hit me hard. I didn't have a good camp. My nose got broken. I was fighting a bigger guy. Just like the nerves hit me, and like the confidence wasn't there from the training that I put in. So I kind of like knew in the back of my head I was gonna gas. Just like the whole day was weird. Even eating food after weigh-ins, like I was super low energy, not talking to anybody, which is weird. Like, you saw me at our fight, I'm like the happiest guy. It's like beautiful day for violence,
for sure,
everybody.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna be a wonderful day. That was not me that day. I don't know what happened. Like, maybe it was my sleep the night before or whatever. They hit me super, super hard that day. Then our fight, I was super nervous, like super, super nervous until we turned left onto the airport road. And I was like, oh man, I've been here before. I know what this is.
Yeah.
Like, we do this. And then I got excited, and then we weighed in and I was able to eat, got more excited. Like that, I was back to being normal. And I think it's just like exposure. I took so long in between my last fight and the Brian fight that like I wasn't used to those nerves or used to getting myself back in the zone. So like it was really easy for me to go on a downward spiral. This time, like, not only have I been active, but our team's been active. So
Yeah.
I've been in the environment of fighting so much that, like, it was a lot easier to calm myself down.
Yeah.
Plus, being at, like, there's just something about fighting at the Polish Hall that
Yeah,
gives
for sure.
you that extra boost, right?
Yeah. Have you ever had a fight where you weren't nervous?
No.
No way.
No. Oh no. No. I have nightmares the night before about getting knocked out in front of my friends and family.
That's
just
crazy to me.
Yeah,
That's
just,
wild.
Yeah, that's how my brain works. You got to be okay with the worst case scenario to be
Yeah.
able to do this. So, like, my brain fires a lot of worst case scenarios at me, and I just beat that by training hard here. Training hard here, killing all the stuff. Like, that's just fear of the unknown, right?
Yeah,
The nerves is
for
all
sure.
fear of the unknown. So I can beat that by everything I can control. I crush my time on the mats. I double a lot of the fighters that I know because I train 2-3 times a day.
Yes.
I'm very, very lucky to be able to do that. If I run, like, that's a bonus.
I love it. If I run,
If I run, that's a bonus. My nutrition, I'm very, 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 very strict on that now when I'm in fight camp. Like, I have it down to pretty much a science of what's, like, how my body responds to things. Yeah, that's really it. All the stuff that I can control, my sleep, my recovery, not overtraining this camp was a huge, huge thing because I was coming off an injury already.
Yeah.
And I have a very, very bad habit of, like, super overtraining. Like, I'll come in here in a full sweatsuit and do 2 hours, and then people will find me, like, laying on the floor and stuff. They're like, Travis, you can't train by yourself, for one.
Yeah.
And, like, you still have a class to do tonight. What are you doing? And
Yeah.
then I'd be useless for the night. So I did a lot better job these last 2 camps of, well, maybe not last 2 camps, but for our fight, definitely not overtraining or overdoing it. Like, I came in feeling good. There's no bumps or bruises or nothing like that. It's the first time I actually came in feeling like I wasn't at a handicap in a fight.
Yeah. And so I'm curious here, you know, because I think this is different for every fighter, and every fighter I've talked to has given a different answer. Right? What's going through your head when you're getting your hands wrapped? Now, this time I saw you were wrapped by Brookman, as was I. Right? So what was going through your head in that time?
How cool is this?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's, like, I never had my hands taped before to begin with, and then, like, to have the legend himself wrapping my hands
Yeah.
and just, like, telling me how he, like, why he's doing hand wraps the way he's doing it. But he's not trying to teach me how to wrap hands. He's trying to keep my mind busy and, like, me not nervous. I really, really appreciated that. Yeah, that was it. Just, like, taking it all in and enjoying, like, that moment.
Yeah. That's beautiful, man.
Yeah, it was awesome.
See, I wasn't like that at all. I was, like, dead quiet. But I've also had my hands wrapped a bunch of times too.
Yeah.
Right. So it was just like another, not say another experience, because obviously it's. I think every time it's cool, but I wasn't expecting to get my hands wrapped at all. Like I actually prefer when I fight. I don't even like having the tie wraps on.
Yeah, I know. I'd rather go bare.
Yeah. I don't think you have to.
I think it's in the rules because they check our hand wraps.
Yeah, they check you, but I think
we
you
don't
go
have
bare.
to wear
I don't
hand
think
wraps.
so.
Oh, bro, I'm
No,
never
I
wearing
don't
hand
think
wraps
so.
again.
Yeah,
if that's
I'm pretty sure.
that's the rule, I'm not wearing hand wraps.
I'm pretty sure. Cause
I'll go tape, but I hate the cloth wraps. They get all jumbled up, and you can't make a good fist.
You can't. Yeah, that's and I don't like the way that although this depends on the gloves too. The Wacko gloves, the way that they like.
Yeah, you gotta go flat. There's no roll. So,
yeah. So when I find that you get the wraps on, you can't move it over properly. And every time I've ever fought with the Wacko gloves, my thumbs come out just shredded.
Yeah,
even
it's
now.
like you gotta, like, put your fingers in extra so you could get that curl, because I have to push my hand in so hard.
So deep,
it's
yeah.
like my fingers are almost bending,
Yeah.
and then I can get kind of a roll, but it's still, I like them better than the old gloves that they used to have, though.
Which ones were those?
Those, like, kickboxing round microfiber gloves.
I don't know if I used.
They had
those.
we used them at the Polish Hall the very first time. They had
did we?
sparkles on them. People had sparkles all over their face and in
I
their
don't
eye and
remember that.
stuff.
I don't remember
Yeah,
that.
they were round on the knuckles, so, like, you had to have a weird guard. I like how they have flat hands for these ones.
Yeah, I don't remember that. But yeah, every time I fight with those, my thumbs get jacked up. Like even now, this thumb, like moving it this way, like it's always banged up. I'm like, why is it every time I fight, my thumbs are shredded?
It's because of gloves.
It's because the gloves, right?
Yeah.
Let's move on forward here, right? So you talked a lot about coaching and how you've evolved as a coach, right? What are some things that you tell your athletes before a fight to help with their nerves?
That we do this. We do this every day. It's not like we're showing up to play a game we've never played before. Our kids train 3, sometimes 4 to 5 times a week, right? So we do this every day. This isn't something new. You train very, very hard every day. You have good teammates that push you hard every day. This is just another day at the park. This is a fun field trip, especially for the kids. We say this is a fighting field trip. We're here to have a good time with our teams and to go fight some people. That's it. I try to keep it super light with my athletes because I know as a fighter, it's so easy for like you to say one wrong thing can send your athlete in a spiral, right? So it's just I keep everything super, super light. I joke around. If you go quiet, I get you to talk to me. I'll ask what your favorite cereal is, like the dumbest stuff. But we're talking. We're not getting quiet because once they get quiet, then they start spinning, right?
See, I'm the opposite. I don't like talking.
You don't like talking?
No, I don't like talking.
I
I want
like talk.
Silence.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like when I warm up, I'll put music on or I'll sing or whatever, right? But like when I'm getting my hands wrapped or, right before a fight, I don't want anybody talking to me.
Yeah, see,
I don't want you asking me how my day, I don't want to ask cereal. I don't want none of that.
I can't be alone with my own thoughts. Talk to me, distract me. Let's have a good time. Let's make it fun.
Yeah, see, but that's why I don't like that though. It's because for me, I'm a generally happy person. The more I talk, I think it changes my mindset. Right, but if I want to go into a fight, I don't want to have that mindset of like, oh, everything's joyful and happy, and we're here for a good time. It's like I want to go in and I want to hurt somebody and have violence.
Yeah, see, I don't like getting there until I hear my music. Then when I hear my the walkout music or like my name being called, then I can flip that switch. But I feel like, for me at least, if I'm there too early, like I just burn out.
I hate that. That's why I went home. Yeah. Did you go home?
Oh yeah, I went home.
Yeah.
I went home. Well, I had to be back for the second fight because I coached and fought.
Okay.
So I still had to be back and like have my athletes warmed up and stuff. But we had a great team downstairs. Like we had so many people helping.
It was huge.
I probably didn't need to be there.
Yeah.
But like it helps my nerves instead. Like it makes it more of like an everyday thing because like I've never been to an event actually other than like the 2 in-houses where I didn't have to coach before or after I fought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's different for sure because I think every event that I've been to, probably within the last 4 years, definitely 3, I've always been holding pads or helping somebody or reffing or doing something other than fighting. So it was a very different experience for me. Like even the other times when I fought, I'm usually back there holding pads or I'm doing something, right? So I went there. I count
that as part of my warm up. That's how messed up it is. Like
yeah.
I'll hold pads for somebody and Rob will be like, "What are you doing?" It's like, "I'm warming up. What are you talking about?"
Yeah. And like for me, I was like, I don't want that. Like I kind of took a selfish mindset where I was like, I'm not there to help anybody.
Yeah,
like,
no.
Like that's, you know what I mean? Like no, it wasn't selfish because I let people know.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Well, no, like this thing that we do, like it is selfish. We take so much time to focus on ourselves.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, if you need that time to be like, I don't need any distractions. I need to focus on the goal at hand.
Yeah.
People should understand that.
And even then, I was still talking to like Yuan came back and he lost his fight and he was real down. And I'm like, next I'm talking to him for like 20 minutes and I'm like, I need to fight. I need to get out of this mindset of like, it's okay. And you know what I mean? Like helping somebody else with their thing.
Yeah, that's my biggest struggle. Like you're a coach, right? You always want to be a coach and you want to be there for your team and your athletes. But like, that's the hardest struggle about being a coach and a fighter. It's like turning off that coach.
I find that, yeah.
Especially in sparring too. It's just like I find myself like being a punching bag a little bit more often than I should because I'm trying to build confidence in others, and then I get bad habits. I'm not kicking enough because like new guys don't check leg kicks. So like, what am I going to do? Destroy your leg? I land a couple, and then okay, you're not checking. I'm just not gonna throw them anymore. That's fine.
What happened your first session? Like you said, you got.
Oh, I got destroyed. Right? But like, it's different now. It's different now. We also only had like 8 to 12 members for years.
Yeah.
Because of that, this was not like a martial arts academy. This was gladiator school.
Yeah.
You came here.
Fight school.
Yeah, you came here to. We did like 60 rounds a week when we started.
Yeah.
It was absolutely bonkers. And there's no like, there's maybe 4 of us that like all were around the same age, but we were super young. And then everybody else was like huge and grown and just kicking us through walls and shit. It was crazy.
Yeah, I don't do the same thing at Cal, just because that's something that I really like that B does, is that on Tuesdays, which it's typically open sparring, there's so many coaches there that if you're going there to spar, you don't need to be a coach.
Yeah, no, that's great.
It's like that. You don't need there's already enough coaches that you don't have to, unless you're working with somebody.
Yeah,
but you don't
we're getting there now. We're getting like the higher ranks and stuff, but like, for the longest time, it was just me and Rob.
Yeah. That's beautiful. And let's kind of start wrapping this up here. Before we kind of jump to the end of it, is there anything that you wanted to kind of touch on or talk about?
How did you feel like during the fight, going into the decision? Like, what was your thought process?
So when the 8 count happened, which by the way,
I don't agree with that.
That was weird as fuck.
I think I could have got 8s for other things. I could have got 8s for a couple of the knockdowns.
Yeah.
I did not agree with that 8 count at all. Because I heard the whistle and I backed up, and then we started fighting again. I was like, okay, maybe I didn't hear the whistle.
Yeah.
And then you threw the front kick, and then they called the 8. I was like, are you fucking calling an 8 count on me? Like, that didn't even hit.
That was.
I was so confused. I don't agree with that 8.
Yeah. So the thing that I don't agree with it, and you just touched on it there, is that we the whole exchange happened, right? And then Matt stopped, and then we had another exchange, and then they blew the whistle.
Yeah.
So I thought it was like, I thought the round went, I thought something happened. Like, we both backed up and looked at each other.
See, I heard they blew the whistle twice.
Okay.
So the first exchange on the ropes, I heard the whistle, so I backed up and I looked at Jacqueline.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, she doesn't look like she's yelling stop, so maybe I'm tripping and didn't hear a whistle. So I go in, you hit me, I back up, you throw a front kick, and it's right here. And then I hear the whistle, and then like Jacqueline's yelling at Matt to stop it. And I was like, I looked down and I was like, is that on, like, am I getting an 8 count?
No, and Matt didn't know either.
I was like, I didn't even get hit by that front kick at all.
Yeah.
And then they called it on you, and I was like, either that was super, super late.
It was either super late or
that shouldn't. I literally went into the opposite corner, so confused.
I know, yeah.
But that's happened a couple times.
Because he put us both in neutral corners, right? And then he brought me back, and then you started walking, and then he's like, you go. And I was like, what is going? So after the 8 count, I was like, I have to get an 8 count on you. Like, that's. With the way that the Wacko scoring works, it's like an 8 count is so powerful.
Yeah, because it's -2 and +2, is it not?
No, so it's just 2 for you, but most people also count the strike.
Oh,
so it's really 3 or 4.
Oh, okay.
Right? So like the 2 points could be huge.
Oh yeah, especially like later on in the fight.
And that was, I think that was the 4th round.
It was the 3rd or 4th round for sure.
3rd or 4th.
Because I got sent the fight, but it's out of order. So
Yeah.
I'm guessing off of like sweat on my back what round it is.
When that happened, I was like, I got to get an 8 count on you to kind of even it up. And then I knew it was super close because the 4th and 5th, I was coming back.
Yeah,
I was scoring a lot more points.
Yo, for sure. You were throwing a lot more. That's why I was like, oh, okay, this guy sandbagged me for 3 rounds. That's cool. We got to dig a little deeper.
Yeah. So when the decision happened, I was kind of like, I've seen people like Colton won in the one where he got an 8 count against him, but besides that, like it's almost, I don't think I've ever seen, and I've probably officiated over 150 fights, maybe probably even more than that, where like, somebody's got an 8 count against them and they've came back and won. So I knew it was probably going your way. Like as soon as it was unanimous, I was like, okay, you won.
Yeah, as soon as I heard
Right.
unanimous,
But I was
knew-
like, if
I
it
knew
goes
was
to a
me.
split decision,
if I
like-
heard split,
Yeah.
oh man, that place would have not been good.
Yeah.
It's like if I got robbed on another split, I'm going home.
Yeah, and then, but so here's the thing. So I talked to one of the officials afterwards, and I was like, what was the difference in the scoring? Because if it was like, a landslide, like 6, 7, 8 or whatever, I was like, okay, but then they said it was like, you won by 1 point.
Then why didn't we go to a fourth? We should have went to a fourth. I think if it's that close or if it's a draw, like you go to a fourth. Especially for a belt, you go to fourth. We have the option to
Well,
go.
we already did 5 rounds.
Oh yeah,
Right?
never mind. Yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot we did 5 actually.
Yeah.
that's
So
crazy.
I
There is
mean,
no 6th round. So.
I knew it was close, but like I said, if that 8 count wasn't there, I think it would have been a completely different fight. I think
Yeah,
the
you
whole
wouldn't
dynamic
have
changed.
had to chase the 8. You could have fought more methodically.
We would have fought differently.
Yeah, well,
right?
for sure.
So like I don't know how the rest of that fight would have played out without that, but that was just a weird decision. So I kind of knew that that was yours, unless I got an 8. And then he stopped us in the corner one time in the 5th round, and I thought he was giving you an 8 count. So I was like, oh yeah, like I think you even hear me. I go yes. Right?
Yeah, so my arm got stuck in the ropes.
I'm not sure, but I hit you
I
like
went
4
to
or 5
sleep.
times, and I was like, and then he stops, and he points me to neutral corner, and I go, yes, right? And then he looks like he's giving you an 8 because he brings his hand up, and then he like moves you forward, and I'm like,
yeah, I have
was
no
like,
idea.
is that an 8? Like, I don't know, and then
no idea how the 8s work. I've gotten a couple. Like I've never got one against me, but
that
I
was
got
the
a
first
couple
one.
on
Oh,
people.
second, actually, you know what? Sorry to cut you off. Both times, it was when Jacqueline was either reffing or blew a whistle, and the opponent didn't know what was going on. So it was like one of those things where, and the thing that bugged me, okay, if you're a head official, okay, you have to make that call. But like out of all the officials, Matt's the most experienced.
Oh, I love him. Who's the big gentleman with the curly hair?
Oh,
He just ref my thing.
yeah,
at Nationals.
Nationals.
I love him.
I forget him, but
he's so
good.
cool.
Roger, I think his name is.
He's so cool.
He's good too. But like Matt has, so I was like the fact that, and again, I'm not trying to shit on Jacqueline, right? But the fact that she blew the whistle, like
she's
the whistle
warming up to me. She didn't like me for a long time. I don't know why.
On Matt, I was like, oh, really? Like if it's a less experienced person, I get it. You make that call, but I'm like, Matt's in there. Matt can see your eyes.
Let us fight. They did it. That happened to me at Nationals actually in the fight that I lost. I thought I was going to get an 8 count. I had him hurt in the corner in the first round. And then they pulled me off. It's not like he was tangled up in the ropes or whatever.
Yeah.
They literally pulled me off.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, bet, 8 count. And they just reset him. I was like, yo,
Yeah.
what are we doing
Yeah.
here? Like that's you give me another 10 seconds, I probably finish him.
I know. Yeah, I don't know. It's I don't know. So
Unless somebody's like wobbly, I don't think we should be calling it.
yeah. Well, I definitely see it. If it's any type of title fight or no headgear fight, you gotta let them fight. You know what I mean? Like those
That's
are people
what we
that are in
signed up
there.
for,
are
100%.
Yeah. If you're in there with people, like for example, like Rivka's fight and Vivi, I think
that's fine.
That's different.
They don't
That's
need to be taking
first or
crazy
second,
hard
third
shots
fight or whatever. You know what I mean?
For sure,
But,
I agree. I agree with that. But us,
we've
no,
both
let us
been in
go.
there. We've both probably had tougher wars in the gym, where it's so I don't know. It was one of those things, but I knew that it should have went your way after the 8 count, and if it didn't, I was kind of like, oh, I might have cheesed the judges a little bit here, But
yeah, that happens.
As soon as it said unanimous, I was like, yeah, it's a good call. Like it was the right call.
That was a super fun fight, though. I really enjoyed it.
It was a fun fight. Yeah, it was a good one. Anything else you want to talk about before we kind of jump to wrapping it up here?
Yeah, what's it like to be an official? Like, what was it like taking that, like turning that corner and opening it up that way?
You don't do it for money, I'll tell you that.
Oh no, I know you guys. I know you guys don't get paid much.
We don't get. I don't think I'll do. I don't think I'll officiate nationals again.
No, it's
unless
not.
it changes. I'm pretty sure I lost money on that trip.
Oh, I can definitely see that.
But besides that, like it's good. It's becoming so much so, and I'm sure you're seeing this as a coach, that there's so many events now.
Oh, there's
that it's over. Like almost
so
every
many.
week, they're like, we're looking for you, and if they like you, like Maz really likes me, he'll message you personally. And I'm like, it's come to the point where I'm like, okay, like I'm taking a week off of doing a weekend off of doing nothing. Right?
You have to. You can't, like, you're gonna get burned out, and then you're not gonna like it anymore, and then you're just not gonna do it anymore.
Yeah.
So you need to take the. Like,
but it's good.
Time.
It's good. And I've officiated other things too. Like I did the amateur MMA. I did some boxing. So it wasn't. I was pretty like able to jump in and just catch things on. But for other people, I can see there's a lot of like different signals and stuff that they want you to like learn and stuff. Like obviously some are elbowing or kneeing. Like those are pretty simple, right? But there's other ones where like there's a difference between like someone putting their head up or like somebody headbutting like this versus that. It's like, and they can like. I've never had this happen. I've been lucky, nobody's ever done that. But like if another coach knows this thing, they can dispute it if it's the wrong signal.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's like it can kind of be.
How many coaches know your hand signals though?
Well, I would, right? If I was in the corner, I would know it, right? Like
fair, actually. That's a good point.
And then again, like as a coach, you want what's best for your fighter.
Oh, for sure.
So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, if I talk to a head official, I'm like, well, they just called the wrong thing. Or, you know, especially if it's a point away or something like that. Like usually if it's just a warning, who gives a shit, right? But if it's like you just took 2 points away for somebody, that's a difference of a fight, right? That's an 8 count, right? So like you just called the wrong signal. I could dispute that, and it's you know, like so whatever, right? So you gotta really be confident with what you know. But it's good. I like it. You travel a lot, and you get paid for traveling around Ontario, which is pretty cool. It's good. It's a lot of work.
Oh yeah, no, I see you guys put a lot into it.
I wish, and I think this is going to change, and I think it also depends on who the officials are. I've been pretty lucky in the fact that like the head official sometimes will just like be too involved. But I think that also really depends on who the official is. Like we have some officials, and I'm not going to mention names, but I'm like, they probably shouldn't be an official. They shouldn't be officiating that level of fight, right? Like whenever I see like Matt official my fight, I'm like, oh, thank goodness. I
love Matt.
Right? Whereas there's been other officials, and again, I'm not shitting on anybody. It's just an experience thing where I'm like, if this is a high caliber fight, I don't want that person officiating it.
I cannot 100%.
Right? And I feel bad sometimes because I'm like, oh, they made the wrong call, or oh, they did this, or oh, they did that, or whatever. And I'm like, that as a fighter, that fight might mean so much to you.
Yeah. See, right? I look at it like 2 different ways. As a fighter, there's definitely some refs that I don't want officiating my fight, 100%. But as a coach, I want them officiating my fighters' fights because like they're very safety oriented. They're pretty quick to call the 8. I know my athlete's probably not gonna get knocked.
But there's other ways that they aren't quick either too, right? So it goes both ways, or again, they make the wrong call, or they, especially with the Tommy, which I don't like. I've already told anybody. I don't like kick. I don't like Tatami at all because the mat thing is ridiculous. So if one foot goes on the mat, I immediately take points away.
No, warning first, and is it immediate points?
It's immediate points.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
so
it's immediate points.
It's literally. In nationals they gave a warning because there's 4.
No, they're not supposed to.
Oh, they gave one warning because it was 4 ring. One of our fighters won by 4 ring outs.
Yeah, they had a big rules meeting that for nationals, international events, if it's a Frosty Friends or a Halloween Howl or something, you can give by referee discretion. So,
but for nationals,
it's a national. You're fighting for a national title.
Yeah,
you should know the rules.
That's what the one ref said. But he said it was 4. He's like, we'll give like 1, but like,
you're not supposed to.
Because that's what I told Sahisha. I was like, 4 ring outs, we win. Like you're so forward heavy. Like 4 ring outs, we win.
Yeah, and so like Tatami, I don't like it because of that reason, and there's a lot of other things that like, especially like if you train in a Muay Thai gym, like if you catch a kick, right, you get a warning and then points.
Yeah.
Right. Well, catching a kick can be so natural to somebody.
Yeah.
Right?
If that's your way of dealing with a kick, like you don't even think about it. There's so many like catchers in my gym that like, you couldn't do kick light, you get DQ.
And that's the thing, right? And that's what I tell a lot of coaches and athletes and stuff. It's like, you have to know what you train. Like if you're going to go and fight tatami for a national title, you should be training tatami in your
if
gym.
you're fighting low kicks, you shouldn't be throwing knees and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I totally
So
agree.
again, as much as it's like I can say some of the rules are ridiculous, it's like that's on the coaches and the athletes to know the rule set too. So it goes both ways.
Oh yeah.
I just don't like it for that reason, because it kind of be ridiculous, and it can kind of, like, you want to like, imagine somebody wins a national title by ring out.
Yeah.
You're a national champion because the other person stepped 1 foot on a line.
What happened at what was it, Summer Smash or Frosty Friend? One of the two at the Japanese Culture Museum. I was watching 2 kids fight kick light, and they almost DQ'd. Well, they did DQ them, but they pulled them back because it was the.
I was there for that.
Yeah, it's for the silver medal, and they're like,
it's for the gold medal.
Yeah, we can't DQ these 2 kids. It's the final. So then they like restarted the round and like reset the points, and it's like, oh, what a mess that was.
I know, I agree, and that goes back to the light contact. It's like some of the 30% for one kid and 30% for a different kid are different.
It's not. I think
50% is different, and it's
I think as long as they're not winding up, you should let them.
But that's not what they're.
I know.
You know, and then so like I've actually had this where, you know, I tell the kids to lighten up, and then the one kid hits the other kid hard.
It goes hard.
And then and then the coach is like, well, my kid's gonna go hard too. So why do you give him? Why do you both take a point away for both? When he's the one who did
especially that one where they were going to DQ both kids in the gold medal match. They were both going the same pace.
Yeah,
and they weren't backing up. They weren't getting hurt.
Yeah.
That was a pretty competitive match that you really didn't. Sure, it was harder than 30%. 100% it was harder than 30%. But that was a competitive match against 2 equally skilled kickboxers.
Yeah.
Nobody was getting hurt. Nobody was getting rocked. There's really no reason to settle that down.
It's a developmental tournament.
It's your
like
gold medal
it goes both ways, right? So it's like, I understand what they're saying. It's a developmental tournament. Like, you get a kid who's never sparred hard. I mean, you know, sparred hard in the gym before, and they want to get their feet in it and they want to test it out. That's what those tournaments are for. And then you get a kid who's a 5-time national champion who we've had before, and it's kind of like, that's kind of ridiculous. I understand that, because that skill level is not the same, and that one kid, for sure, you could probably go in there and
that's why
demolish the other kid.
They shouldn't count wins and losses on kick light, but they should count matches. They should count matches, because there's some kids with like 50 kick light fights.
For sure. And then here's the part that I find funny is that if they turn adult, only a certain amount of those will count towards the adult record.
None of them count.
I think some of them. I'm not sure.
I don't think any, because
That's the way it should be.
None of it goes on you. That's why I'm saying too. None of the kick light, like they don't even have passports.
No, I know that.
So like, none of that's getting recorded.
I don't know. If that's the way it is, that's the way it should be. But you'll see like some kids, and it's like, that kid's got 40 fights.
Yeah, 5 national titles, and there's this little kid like.
So is that 30% the same?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, definitely not.
For sure not.
Definitely not.
Right. So then, you know, I don't know. It's. I hate doing that.
I know.
30%,
I like that we're trying to protect the kids from hard contact, and there might be no better way. This might be the best way to do it. But there's so much discrepancy in the scoring and stuff like that. Like, when you go to a kick light decision, you just like throw your hands up in there. Yeah. Unless your kid dominated.
It's a coin flip. Yeah. It's anyways, let's jump to the closing questions here.
Okay.
All right. Unless there's anything else you want to talk about.
Just one quick thing about like rules and Waco and stuff, because you're an official. The guy I fought in the semis moved on because he kicked a dude in the dick, and the doctor carried him out. Like, how does that work?
So, I'll start off by saying I don't know, and it's very situational. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Now,
it happened like 2 or 3 times
typically
in the tournament.
Yeah. So typically, what happens is if it's after a certain time in the second round, it'll go to the scorecards. Okay. However, if it's deemed intentional, it'll be a DQ loss.
If it's
otherwise, it'll be a no decision. But you can't have a no decision when somebody moves on, or else that'll offset the brackets. And then what happens in that case is usually, and again, this is why it's very situational, I think it depends on the head official, they'll say, as a referee, you choose a winner.
Oh.
So that might have been the case, where if it's a no decision, and
Yeah,
then
I
it
just
goes
didn't
back
understand.
to if it's a no decision and that person can't continue, why do we advance that person?
No, I understand
Right.
that. Yeah, that's okay.
But again, it's all
It's
it's all
confusing.
situational.
I saw it 3 times in the tournament where like the dude, like
In my opinion,
first minute of the fight, the guy just comes and hits somebody with a low blow.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't get up. Like, I don't even think it was 5 minutes. He just
Yeah.
didn't get up fast enough, and
It's supposed to be 3 minutes, but yeah.
the doctors took him
Yeah.
out, and then the other guy moved on.
Yeah, in my opinion, any nut shot should immediately be points taken away.
I think so too.
And if it's MMA, any eye poke should immediately be points taken away.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I
if
hit
you
you in
play
the
any
nuts.
other sport,
so
like-
I hit you in the nuts, I get points taken away.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Any other sport like hockey, you have to be in control of your stick at all times. If your stick goes
Oh,
up high
yeah.
and hits someone in the face, even if it was by accident,
Doesn't matter.
doesn't matter. It's a penalty.
That's my like I've seen so many people. I mean, I've been kicked. I was kicked in the nuts in Ottawa, and it was so bad that I should not have continued. Okay, I'm not. Again, I don't know how yours was, but for
Mine
me,
was I
shouldn't have-
gagged a little bit. I didn't like. I've been hit hard where like I almost threw up in my second fight at
Yeah.
the home shows that you guys were doing.
Yeah.
Like I got hit so hard that second time. Buddy lifted me up with his knee, and
Yeah.
my cup was loose, so it just went.
I was seeing stars. I was kicked so hard in the nuts. I thought maybe he punched me in the head after, but he didn't.
Yeah, that's
Like, so I saw
that's
the video, and
worst.
like I shouldn't have continued. But as a fighter, you're like, oh, no, I
yeah,
can
you
power
can't
through it,
stop.
right?
Yeah.
And I remember telling myself, I will never continue if that happens again, because the rest of the fight, I was completely
gas
off.
is gone,
I was
yeah.
off, and that impacted the whole. And again, I'm not saying the points would have changed, but it definitely would have helped,
Oh,
right?
for sure. Accidental or whatever, a nut shot is something that changes the course of the fight.
So
Like even
that's
if you
my
give me
opinion.
the full 3 minutes to recover,
Yeah, it
now
doesn't-
like we're kind of cold.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Well, I mean, so is the other person too. You can say that too.
Yeah.
Right, but again, like you said, you have to be in control.
Yeah, you
and
have
they
to
do
be
that.
in
And
control
so
of it.
here's the thing that I find funny too is that they'll play this game, and I understand why they do it. Again, it's very situational. I don't necessarily agree with it, but it's like you threw a spinning back fist in the corner and you hit me with an elbow.
Yeah, I saw that on video.
So here's the thing: do they take points away?
Probably.
But they would.
Or
They
warned
they
me
would
at
if
least.
they.
They didn't
So
give
here's
me
the
a
thing.
warning either.
They would if you're not allowed. Now we were allowed, but you're not allowed knees to the head and you knee me to the head. They take points away.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't they do that for an elbow? Why wouldn't they? You know what I mean? Like there's certain things that they don't give warnings to,
yeah.
and they take points away. But there's other things that they give a warning to.
Yeah, like in low kick, if I throw a knee, there's not supposed to be a warning. It's just supposed to be a point. Yeah.
If I hit you, and this is again one of those gray areas. It's really as an official in the ring, you have to make that call. But if it looks like I'm going for your calf and I hit you in the calf, that's an illegal spot.
Even for a K1?
Oh yeah.
I thought
you
it
can't
was
kick below the knee.
Yeah, we can. It's 3 above. We're just not allowed to attack the knee.
Can't kick below the knee.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, damn.
Calf kicks
Good thing
are
I don't throw
illegal.
calf kicks.
Calf kicks are illegal.
Oh, wow.
And again, you can kind of get away with them. Right? Like I didn't mean to hit you with a couple, but I hit you with a couple.
Oh,
right?
I
It's one of
didn't
those
even know they
things,
were
right? Like,
illegal.
it's one of those things of what's the intent? Is my intent to hit your calf?
Yeah.
Or is it
Am I
I went
moving
for your
for-
leg and you moved
Yeah,
forward?
am
I
I
hit you in the
moving
calf?
forward and taking your angle away?
That's
like,
you know what I mean? But like
totally agree
if
with
I
that.
intentionally go for your calf, right, they can immediately take points away.
Man, I've seen so many calf kicks in K1. Like I was literally just at the Rebirth event, and like people were spamming calf kicks.
Again, I think a lot of it's also the official too,
Yeah.
right? It's I don't know. It's one of those things that you have to trust the officials on, but
I didn't even know they were illegal.
If-
I got hit with a couple, and I was like, okay, cool. We're
that's the
turning
rules,
our
though,
shin out when we walk forward.
like that's my thing is like if that's the rules, that's the rule across the board. Don't allow it for some and not
Oh,
allow it for others.
100%.
And that's what drives me nuts, dude.
Consistency with reffing, like, needs to, not just in Waco, just everything. Consistency and reffing and judging needs to be, like, it almost needs to be transparent. You need to be able to, like, I heard in Worlds they do live scoring.
Yes.
That's amazing.
I know,
That's
I agree.
amazing. People should be held accountable. If you're fucking up, you're fucking up, and people should see.
I think it should be across the board in any fighting.
Oh, 100%.
I would even say for the developmental kids, it should be.
Oh yeah, you like it would help if you know your athete's down. Like
100%.
It would make the fights better too.
And it would. That's the thing. In my opinion, it would make the fights better. Now, the only thing that they could say is that if you're up, you might try and coast more. But then wouldn't that just mean that the other person's not trying to coast more? Like that they're trying to get at? So I don't know. It's whatever. I don't have a part in that, but that's what I think too. I think everything should be live scoring.
Yeah. Or just
imagine you're playing a hockey game, right? And how many times do you know if it's in or not? You know, like a goalie, it's in, but it's in the glove, so they count it, but they don't tell you.
Yeah, they don't put it on the scoreboard.
They don't tell you until the end of the game.
Yeah, if they
and
guess.
You find out who wins.
That's
so
crazy.
like, that's insane. Like,
no, I 100%,
it's crazy.
I 100% agree.
Why is it that fighting is one of the only sports, probably the only sport I can actually think of, that you don't know the score?
Yeah, you don't know the score.
Until the end.
Not only do you not know the score, they get it wrong so often. Like I understand people error and stuff, but like some of the professional decisions you see are like blatant, you're trying to fix this match.
Yeah, I don't know. I won't get on about that. We can talk about that off camera.
No
but,
problem.
All right, let's jump into, I've got 3 closing questions I ask every one of my guests here. What 3 qualities do you possess that make you successful?
I'm hardworking, I'm willing to learn, and I'm my own biggest critic. Like, I'm very, very hard on myself.
Okay. I like that. If you could go back in time, what is something that you would tell your younger self?
Trust the process.
Okay. Okay. I like that. And what is something you do every day that you are proud of?
This. I train and I teach every single day. Like, this is the
7 days a week?
I take Sundays off. Take Sundays off, but six days a week I'm in here, or sometimes I'm doing personals on the Sunday. So like 6 or 7 days a week I'm in here, even if it's just like cleaning or something like that. Like, this is where I center myself. This is what I'm most proud of, other than my children.
I love that. Where can people find you, follow you, and you just mentioned personals. Are you available for personals as well?
I'm available for personal sessions. You can message me at Messiah Complex on Instagram, Travis Gallagher on Facebook. Our gym does booking right on the website.
I think there was one more thing I actually wanted to ask you here. I remembered it at the very end. Yeah, you had Frontline War Chief. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, that I like to lead from the front lines. Like, I'm never gonna be that guy who like tells you all this stuff about fighting and never has been in a fight. I'm gonna constantly compete and push myself, so then I can like kind of open the way for everybody else. I want to bring as much attention to the gym and our team as possible to open up doors for some of the like super talented youth we have coming up.
Beautiful. Do you have a fighter nickname?
No, not yet.
Not yet, eh?
No, not yet.
Okay. All right, I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything you want to ask me at the very end to finish it off?
No, just thanks for having
Beautiful.
me on. This was an awesome experience.
All right, thank you.
Thank
End
you.
it here.